It was a rainy Thursday when I first met him. I was on my lunch break, perched on the edge of a cafe's window seat, with a copy of Normal People in one hand and a lukewarm latte in the other. My headphones were in, but no music was playing. I like the illusion of being busy without having to actually commit to noise. That's when I noticed him. Dark hoodie, hair damp from the rain, phone in hand. He scanned the room, clearly looking for somewhere to sit. Every table was full except mine, and even though I normally guard my space like it's a private kingdom, something in me, call it politeness, or maybe curiosity, made me nod toward the empty chair opposite me. He smiled. Not the wide, fake kind. The small, hesitant kind that feels like it means something. Mind if I sit? His voice had that slightly husky morning quality, even though it was past noon. Go ahead, I said, closing my book, but keeping my finger between the pages. His name was Noah. He was 25, worked in some kind of creative marketing role which, to me, sounded like a mix between art and selling things people don't need, and had an easy way of talking, as if we'd already known each other for months. We talked about the weather first, because England, and then about books. He admitted he hadn't read one since high school, but he liked that I liked them. It wasn't flirting, not exactly, but there was something there. The rain didn't stop, so we kept talking. At some point, his phone buzzed and he chuckled. My friends are roasting each other in the group chat again, he said. You'd love it. It's chaos. I just smiled, not knowing that one day, that group chat would become my personal nightmare. T happened 2 weeks after our first meeting. By then, Noah and I had already settled into a quiet rhythm. We didn't plan to see each other, it just happened. Sometimes I'd find him at the same cafe, other times he'd text to ask if I wanted to grab food after work. He wasn't intense or clingy, which I liked, but he also wasn't distant. He existed in this perfect middle ground that made me feel both comfortable and intrigued. One evening, we were walking through the high street, our hands occasionally brushing, but never quite holding. The street lamps were coming on, casting that amber glow that makes everything feel softer, safer. He was telling me a ridiculous story about how his friend once got locked in a public toilet at a festival when his phone buzzed again. Group chat, he said, laughing under his breath. I raised an eyebrow. Is this the legendary chaos chat you keep talking about? He grinned. Yeah. It's just my closest mates. We've been roasting each other for years. It's pretty unfiltered. Unfiltered. Yeah, like, no one's feelings survive in there. Sounds brutal, I teased. That's part of the fun, he replied, then paused. You should join. I stopped walking for a second. Join your friend's group chat. He nodded, as if it was the most casual thing in the world. Yeah. You've got a good sense of humor. They'll love you. At the time, I didn't think twice. I liked Noah. I liked that he wanted to bring me into his circle. It felt like a step. Later that night, my phone buzzed. Noah has added you to the circus tent. The name made me laugh, but the first few messages I saw made me pause. Liam, who's Alina? New recruit. Sophie, wait, is this Noah's girl? Eyes? Ethan, oh welcome. Rules are simple, no crying, no snitching, and screenshots are currency. I typed a small hi, with an awkward emoji. They responded with a flood of memes, gifs, and inside jokes I didn't understand. That night, I went to bed smiling. I thought I'd been accepted. I had no idea I'd just stepped into the place where my trust would be broken the worst. The next few days in the circus tent were surprisingly fun. I started to learn their personalities. Liam was the sarcastic one, always finding a way to twist anything into a joke. Sophie was sweet but dangerously observant, able to roast you with surgical precision. Ethan, well, Ethan lived for chaos. His favorite pastime seemed to be taking embarrassing photos from people's old Facebook albums and posting them without warning. They made memes out of anything, someone's typo, an ugly celebrity outfit, even a photo of Noah's cat looking murderous. I didn't mind. I liked that they included me. Sometimes I'd post a random photo of my lunch, or a funny thing from work, and they'd jump in with comments. Noah seemed happy to see me blending in. One night, I sent a voice note to the chat, just a silly story about how my neighbor accidentally locked herself out and tried to climb in through the kitchen window. Liam replied with, "Okay, you're officially one of us." It felt good. Like I belonged. But what I didn't notice was how quickly my guard was lowering, and how much of myself I was handing over in little bits. It started with harmless side conversations. Sometimes Sophie would message me privately. "Okay, but you and Noah are actually cute. He doesn't usually bring girls in here." Liam once sent me a random TikTok at 1 a.m. with no context. Even Ethan, the chaos engine, would drop me funny screenshots with the caption, "Don't tell Noah I sent you this." I didn't think it was strange. I thought it meant they liked me. But Noah was different in private too. He'd send me little check-ins throughout the day. "You eaten yet? Don't forget your meeting at 3. Come to mine later. I got ice cream." It felt safe. And that safety made me open up. I started telling him about work stresses, about my family, even about my insecurities, the stuff I didn't usually share. I didn't know that some of those messages wouldn't stay between us. It was a Tuesday evening when it happened. I'd had a bad day at work, like, cry in the bathroom stall kind of bad. I texted Noah. "I just want to disappear for a week. Or forever." It was dramatic, sure, but I was venting. He replied with something supportive, told me to come over, and that was that. The next day in the circus tent, Ethan dropped a meme. It was one of those exaggerated, world's smallest violin jokes. Underneath it, he wrote, "At a leaner mood yesterday." I froze. They knew. Then Liam chimed in. "Oh no, someone give her a holiday." Sophie added a crying laughing emoji. Noah sent a shrug, GIF. I stared at the screen, my face hot. That was private. That was mine. I told myself maybe Noah had just mentioned it casually. Maybe they weren't making fun of me. But something in my chest tightened. When I brought it up to Noah later, I tried to sound casual. "Did you tell them about my bad day?" He laughed like it was nothing. "Babe, it wasn't deep. We always roast each other. Don't take it personally." I wanted to push back, but I didn't want to be the overly sensitive girlfriend. So I let it go. I told myself he wouldn't share anything too personal. And for a while, things went back to normal. We hung out, watched movies, went to dinner with his friends in real life. The group chat stayed fun. But that tiny crack of doubt stayed in the back of my mind. It started happening more often. A message I sent him about being nervous for a work presentation turned into Liam dropping a GIF of someone sweating profusely. A photo I sent Noah of me in pajamas somehow made it into the chat with the caption, "Quarantine chic." Each time, it was disguised as harmless teasing. Each time, I laughed along, at least in the chat. Privately, I felt exposed. I told myself, this is how they show affection. You're part of the group now. The night it all blew up, I was feeling low. I'd had a rough call with my mum, and I told Noah over text. Sometimes I feel like I'm not enough for anyone. I didn't mean it as a pity grab, it was just honesty, raw in the moment. He replied sweetly, told me he cared about me. But deep down, it didn't feel like affection. It felt like being on display. Went to bed feeling slightly better. The next morning, my phone buzzed like crazy. The circus tent had lit up overnight. When I opened it, my heart dropped. Ethan had posted a screenshot. My screenshot. My message to Noah. Underneath, he'd captioned, "Someone needs a hug LOL." There were laughing emojis. A couple of sarcastic, OS. And Noah. He'd reacted with a laughing emoji too. I felt my stomach twist. I didn't wait. I called Noah immediately. "Why would you do that?" I said, my voice shaking. "Do what?" "Send them that. You know how personal that was." He sighed like I was overreacting. "Babe, it's just a joke. No one meant anything by it. It wasn't funny. It was humiliating. You're taking this way too seriously. This is just how we are." That was the moment I realized, he didn't get it. Or worse, he didn't care. That night, I left the circus tent. No goodbye, no explanation. Just, gone. I turned off my phone for a while, sat in the quiet, and tried to process the fact that someone I trusted had taken my private words and handed them to a crowd for laughs. It wasn't just about the messages, it was about the trust. Once that's broken, "No, it was just a joke" can fix it. Noah texted later. "You're being dramatic. Come back in the chat." I never replied. And that was the start of me realizing that sometimes betrayal doesn't come as a knife in the back. It comes as a screenshot in a group chat.